a sinner, left my lover crying on the dance floor. I'm a sinner, I'm a sinner.
Hey guys, welcome back to Selene. Let's continue. So, we
Selene.
finished 2 endings so far, so let's go for another one. We're gonna have to start from the beginning. Where'd I click? This is different. The forming of God, the construction of angels. Have we seen this before? Oh. Okay. The sound was driving him crazy. Monotonous, muffled thuds were resonating through his head with dull pain. The pain wasn't too strong, nothing unbearable. But that sound, more than anything else, he wanted the sound to just stop. Thud. Nevertheless, the knocking sound didn't end. He knew it well enough because he himself was their origin. Thud. 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 The noise of his slipper was hitting the rear of his desk over and over again like a huge fluffy moth frantically ramming against the window glass. He wanted plenty of things. He wanted to pay the rent in time this month, not to displease his landlady again. He wanted to finish the script, at least in draft, because a draft is way better than nothing, something one can work with. And he wanted sleep. No, not quite that. The problem, a serious one, was that he didn't really want to sleep. He leaned back in his chair and rubbed his shut eyes, pressing his eyeballs until dancing pale lights appeared. Of course he took the sleeping pills. When a healthy 8-hour sleep gives way to a not-so-healthy 5-hour nap, then a 3-hour eye-shut break, and then goes away entirely, you stop thinking how this will impact your liver. You just want to sleep. You need to sleep, especially if you've already taken an advance payment for the first part of a gig, and the goddamn text won't just write itself. However, if the text could in fact write itself somehow, he would probably lose his job. He didn't have any illusions in this regard. As soon as neural networks get smart enough, he and dozens of other ghostwriters will vanish into morning mist of a new era in literature. He didn't have much of a name or connections, only some skill and a knack to meet the deadlines for the most part. The client was content with this, and he was content with the pay, so everything went well until the pills started failing him. Blam. This time the tic got too strong. His foot jerked and hit the board with a very noticeable pain. Seemed like he even heard his toe crack. He muttered a short curse and rolled the chair away from the desk, although he knew now that his attention was not fixed on the blank text file, the tic should go away by itself. It's funny how the consciousness is detached from the body. He often thought about it, especially while having insomnia. It's like you're working as a team, but your partner starts pulling something. You seem to have a common goals, but when all hell breaks loose, you're suddenly left alone with it, and your partner is more interested in watching the fire than fighting it. In the end, you have no idea what's on his mind. Well, at least there won't be any more knocking. Good. A small window at the far side of the room flashed white for a moment. A storm? Now that he thought about it, it was a hot day. The viscous, stagnant air filled the room. This, and the barely audible squeak of an overheated network filter. He became sensitive to such things when he couldn't sleep for a long time, made the entire room seem to vibrate a little. Like a cocoon that's about to hatch. Actually, that did sound like a good line. He rolled back to the table and was about to write that thought down, but paused over the keyboard. He remembered the individual words and the general idea, but the sentence had already slipped away. This time, a white light seemed to fill the entire room. Then, a thunder followed, resembling a low guttural roar of something large and famished. Good Lord. He called to God way too often for someone who never goes to church. Just a habit he inherited from his mother. A furious patter of raindrops pounded on his window. There's no way he could work like this. Not now. But maybe it's for the best. Since he was a little boy, he slept well during the storms. Had to seize the moment. He groped for a packer of sleeping pills. It's nice to have your working tools at hand. Popped the pills into his mouth and opened the window to hear a steady patter of the rain. Then he went to the bed and collapsed on top of the bed sheets, his clothes still on. He could tell by the sound of the water had flooded the windsill and was trickling down to the floor. He decided that was a small price to pay. He felt a pleasant chill of cloth beneath his cheek. The wavering haze was gradually fading from the room. Yet the sleep did not come. He tried to take off his shoes, change positions, take a pillow, cover himself, throw the pillow away to the other side of the room. Nothing helped. He just laid there with his eyes closed, and though through his closed eyelids felt heavy, he knew it was an illusion. All in vain. He was not sleeping. He can't sleep. Thud. At first he thought he was imagining things. Thud. 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 Sometimes the knocking paused, but it never stopped completely. The sound came from below, from the first floor. Someone was banging incessantly on the door. And with each thud, he could feel the rage build up like a tight knot of pain around his stomach. He is trying to sleep. Is it really that hard to just leave a man alone? Or, at least at night, at least in the house that he pays for specifically so that nobody would bother him? He opened his eyes, easy just as he thought, sprang to his feet, and ran down the stairs. Something was boiling inside him. Halfway to the door, he took a turn to the cupboard and pulled out an old baseball bat. He wasn't likely to actually use it. He asked himself if he would as he reached for the door handle. No, he certainly wouldn't, but he's angry, and he wants the night guests to learn it. What the hell? The rain still pouring, or rather, it was actually getting stronger. As his mother would say, the floodgates of heaven tore open. His mother used to say a lot of things. That was on the list of reasons why he had to rent this overpriced house, where anyone would start banging on the door in the middle of the night. A cat, for example. What the hell? He said it again, this time loud. A cat standing on his porch. She looked like a pure-breed British Shorthair, in all respects except for the color. Aside from the smoky gray head, it seemed as if she was dropped into a vat of white paint, while her lower parts were dipped into a black one. Wet fur clung to her small, rather skinny body, dripping with water. The cat could have probably slipped into the house as soon as the door opened, but instead she froze as if waiting for the host to say something. What happens this time if we refuse? This isn't his house. Maybe he pays for it, but it's not his house. And even if the house was his, would anything have changed? It's easier to put the blame on the landlady. I'm gonna check something really quick. Okay. The landlady would have a fit, and he would have to find a new hole to crawl in and forget about the deposit too. But was she the real problem? No. The problem was that he couldn't even take care of himself. Taking care of someone else is a much bigger task, even if it's just for one night. No. I'm sorry. I can't let you in. She must have shaken her head to dry off, but he thought she nodded. I understand. When the door clicked, he felt a pang of guilt. Did he do the right thing? He had no answer. He should have put some bedding for her on the porch, he thought, but suddenly a wave of fatigue swept off his feet. He somehow made it to the living room and collapsed on the couch. Ending 2, finally sleep. The body, too light and too heavy, fell through the upholstery fabric and felt the row of compressed springs on the wood frame. He kept falling into the pitch blackness until it closed over him like a smooth dome. He wasn't dreaming. He wasn't dreaming. And that is another ending. Is it? Is it raining? I don't know, guys. Do you think next time we should let her in? We'll find out then. Bye, guys. I know. I'm evil for the short episodes. Bye.